Hey everybody, once again it's your boy C Truth, and this is the Truth Report, reporting black news, reporting black history, reporting the stuff that they just don't want you to know, or the stuff that you may not know yourself. Today I have an interesting topic. Today's topic will be the secret meeting that changed rap music and destroyed a generation. Yes, rap music, it has a pipeline to prison. It's all connected. So I want to get into that topic today, and that's the only topic that I really want to get into today. I hope that it would be food for thought and something to enlighten you, and even something for you to do your research and look into as well. So I did my research, and I ran across this individual who wrote an article but did not want to disclose their name for various reasons, and I'm sure you can understand why. So I'll get into the story and give you all the details and information that you need, and I'll leave it up to you, the listener, to take it from there. So in 1991, this music executive was invited to attend a closed-door meeting with a small group of music business insiders to discuss rap music new direction. Because at this time, everything was positive rap, Public Enemy, Fight the Power, and all of that type of music. And now rap is getting ready to go into a new direction, but we'll see why is it going into a new direction. This is in 1991. Little did he know that himself and other executives would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practice that was ever seen. This meeting was held at a private residence on the outskirts in Los Angeles, about 25 to 30 people. They were asked to sign a confidentiality agreement, preventing them from publicly discussing information presented during this meeting. The agreement stated violating the terms would result in a job termination. A few people refused to sign it, and they just walked out of the meeting. For those who stayed, that were intrigued and curious, there was a speaker who went on to tell them that the respective companies they represented had invested in a very profitable industry, which would be rewarding with their involvement in it. He explained the record companies we worked for had invested millions into building of privately owned prisons, and that his position of influence would impact the profits. Now, we were told that the prisons were built by privately owned companies that received funding from the government based on the number of inmates they filled up in the prison. So they had to fill up those beds. And from my understanding and my knowledge of doing the research, back then I remember to fill up a prison bed for one person was the funding for that was $540,000 just for one bed for one prisoner, just to fill up that bed. And the more inmates, the more money the government would pay for these prisons. So the more they fill up the bed, the more funding and money they would receive from the government. And so the role speaker stated us as A&Rs and music executives would be job would be to market the music that promotes criminal behavior, and rap was the music of choice. Violence and drug use became a central theme in most rap music. Now that I have a greater understanding of private prisons and how they operate, things make more sense. Criminalization of rap music played a big part in promoting racial stereotypes and misguided so many impressionable young minds into adopting these glorified criminal behaviors, which often led to incarceration. And so we have to understand, this was not by accident, and this was not an experiment. It's all connected with these private buildings of prisons and the connection to fill up the bed. So they chose the rap music as a choice to be able to get to the masses, to get to the people, to flood the young minds of Afro-Americans and Hispanic people. To the criminalization through the music. And as we know, music is very powerful, very influential. I myself grew up in that rap era, the golden 90s era. I love rap, but now that I'm older and now that I'm doing this research, I understand the connection. And back then, music was very violent, very hostile. You know, somebody disrespect you, you had to kill them. Very derogatory towards women, degrading. So it was a mindset, you know, glorifying of selling drugs and being a big drug dealer and carrying guns and killing people and being a murderer, being a gangster. So it glorified that. So imagine you listening to that and you're feeding your mind, because whatever you put in your mind, whatever you're listening to, whatever you're watching is more than likely what you're going to duplicate and become a part of and act like. So they were feeding that to all of our youngsters, to all of those people that lived in poverty-stricken areas, that they flooded us with that in order. Believe me, in order, listen to what I'm saying, to fill up those beds. And they did, because all it did was build up all of these criminalization, you know, robberies, killings, shootings, and all of these things. And it's being heard, your favorite rapper, and I'm not knocking anyone, because these things are happening in bad areas. And that's what we're told to do. So they use that method to fill up those beds. And so you're wondering, why would they want to fill up these beds? Because after a while, you fill up these beds, and I'll show you what I mean. Us as Afro-American people, we won't work a job that won't work a minimum wage job. But guess what? When you go to prison, they'll have you working for $1, doing something that you wouldn't even do outside in the world, making license plates, doing all other types of things. It's called modern day slavery, and we wasn't aware of it, and we still not aware of it as we speak now. And so they'll fill up those beds. They'll have us working for $1 a day. You'll get paid every 2 weeks $10 to do some type of work that you wouldn't do outside for a minimum wage. So you peep the game, you see where this is going. And then also I'm going to give you some true facts for you to understand the part of the game. These are true facts. A judge gets 28 years for receiving money from private prisons to send juveniles to jail. Check it. Wells Fargo banks invest in private prisons. Number 3, private prisons invest millions in elections because they understand those who are get elected, they have a say in prison funding and how this goes. So they want to keep this thing going. They have to, you know, a lot of money being passed under the table. And then also we need to keep this in mind. There's a great book out here called The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Color Blindness. We need to read this book. I know a lot of us don't like reading, like right now as we speak, reading it has become an extinct thing like dinosaurs. A lot of people just don't like to read. A lot of people don't have time to read. Everything is microwavable fast. But we need to know this, the layer of the horrible truth about the private prison industrial complex. We need to find out. There's a tide, there's a connection. It's a reason why, as we speak right now, our youth are under so much pressure right now. And we're seeing what's going on with the drug use, with the violence and the killings. All of this is being promoted in the music, and it's for a reason, and it's a connection between the rap music and the pipeline to prison. So once again, this is C Truth reporting the stuff that you need to know, stuff that give you knowledge, to give you wisdom, to open up your third eye, which is your brain, so you can understand the obstacles, the traps. And this is for our youth. Pay attention. From the pipeline, from the rap music to prison. There's a pipeline from high school to prison as well. So keep in mind, stay away, be aware, because there's a distinction between the two. Rap music is just a reality, because if everybody's rapping and doing all of this stuff, how they able to still be able to do it? Think about it. You got to recognize reality from fantasy. Once again, this is C Truth. Take care. Once again,